Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to F.E.A.R. Let's continue. So we just crawled into an elevator shaft, I think, or we jumped down an elevator shaft, air conditioner vent from an elevator shaft. We haven't gotten any dialogue. There is, of course, the possibility of spookiness and the such. What is this? Just a picture of components on this pipe. Seems to be exactly what that is. It's just a picture. I don't even have this at like 1080p, so it really wouldn't even make sense to, if you're trying to argue that I have this at a really higher resolution and that's why things are happening. Look at the shadow here when I jump. Look at my legs. They just kind of hover up and just stay there. That's the kind of air braking you get in most video games, but they usually don't have a light source that casts a shadow to show you that. And what's funny is that feels perfectly fine. Like, I would never have made a complaint to say, oh, this feels like this is hovery or this is wrong. Of course it's wrong. Like, you would fall down a lot faster, or at least a little bit faster in reality, but in video game world, air braking is perfectly fine. I hope I'm not going the wrong way, but I think I am going the right way. Yeah, we're in the same office areas. What's funny is this is open, so like that's the open screen, an online screen, so this door should be something I could turn. This is a rather long cart. If you made a cart this long, it would work, but it would be hard to control and it would be hard to get through corners, tight corners and doorways. So here we go, the hacker guy.
Oh, perfect. You again.
I tried to shoot him.
See this button? I wonder what this does.
So he straight up tried to kill me. In all fairness, I figured that was going to happen. So I shot first, as Han Solo taught me. Weird that the security cameras now have machine guns in them. That does change the game a little bit, but all of this feels like too little too late. The way all of this breaks down is in such a segmented experience that I don't really enjoy the way it's presented enough that I would have speed run through to this point, and that is definitely wearing on me as I think about, do I really want to do the DLC? I usually play completionists totally and try to do as much of that as possible, but I don't think I really want to do the DLC. I feel like I've screwed up here. Like, there's no way to get up over here. There's nothing over here. Do I just have to run back? Like, I'm not getting any button prompts. Do I just have to run back to where I was? Or did I shoot the gun so efficiently that it was supposed to blow up and do something different? Let's see. We came from over here. Oh. Interesting. So that symbol that we were looking at was the symbol of the turret gun. I don't think most people would have gotten that. I definitely didn't get that. And wouldn't that just put me right next to it? Not, well, I guess on the other side of it. There's no way to smash this. Make sure that that doesn't happen anymore. And ensure no more guns are thrown at me. Apparently not. There's a couple of grenades over here, which I guess maybe some of the grenades have been kind of electrical based, so some of that would make sense.
Automatic defensive measures are active in this area. Unauthorized personnel will be shot on sight.
So they just wanted to spice this up, I guess. These guys are a little too bullet spongy still. Yeah, a little too much bullet sponging going on. Interesting that that didn't really do anything. I guess I could have turned off the power and we could have gone with darkness instead. So it feels like it's a take your pick situation. Gives more data to scan.
Developed as part of a project called Origin. It says the first prototype didn't work out. Fettel was the second, and there was never a third. They just pulled the plug a few years after he was born.
Yeah, there was never a third, I'm sure. I have wondered if those computers were added later by DLC, and the original release of this game just had none of that backstory. It's not significantly changing the game anyways, it's just giving you a tiny bit more info, something that you can grasp onto. How much of this should I deal with? Like, there's literally no reason to take on these guys. Because every bullet I shoot after these robots, I don't get bullets back, I don't get guns. It's easier and more logical to simply avoid them. We've just got to decide which way we want to go. And just gotta work our way to wherever we're supposed to go. And save these bullets. So there's a security thing down that way. Am I going the right way or am I going in circles though? That guy is moving pretty fast. We have like a phone ringing. What's funny is you don't talk, so that was creepy and weird, but I mean, what were you really gonna get from that? Because you don't talk. You're the epitome of a silent protagonist, and that's kind of the worst, most cliche protagonist you can have in a game. That would have been a great time for Alma or even Fextel to talk to you, mention something. Alright. So I think we're gonna have to chase this one because yeah. Let's go ahead. I'm perfectly safe, just know he's in the walk in slow motion. Honestly, this could have been something that was at the very beginning of the game. Like there's no need for this to have been introduced in the middle of the game, other than as an admission that there just is no game here. Really, that they after this point are kind of quite obviously going to throw some more of the standard enemies after us, and then we'll fight them, and then that'll be that. This looks like this would go somewhere, but it's not. We can see he's crawling through here. Let's just shoot this guy. I mean, I could probably throw a grenade in there and blow him up. This is the video game solution, is to shoot the guy. It's not the normal human response. But honestly, if you're acting funky, I wouldn't put it past a special services military person to arrest people and ask questions later, like zip tie, handcuff the guy. The first time you see it, zip tie, handcuff everybody, just so you know that they're compliant and that they're not a enemy combatant in disguise. I don't see how I could get up here though. That's weird. It's not like you can knock things over. So that's gotta be an exit. Probably a different pathway you could have taken. So there are chemicals in the water, they've just been covering it up, it seems. There have been several points where it would have been better, quite simply put, just better, to have had a section like this, to that way you could potentially avoid the frustration of running out of bullets. But what we're not having here is we're not having a scenario where we get the bullets back anyways. I think there's a invisible guy somewhere over here, but I don't think I can get through here. So it seems like invisible guys with the automated bullets are now going to be the next combination. I'm just going to take this one out. Seems like we're going to have to start using bullets again. That way. There's probably another passageway. Lots of doors where you can see things happening. Designing it like this, it would be really cool, probably too ambitious for a 15-year-old game, but it would be cool nonetheless if you look through windows and you just constantly saw other people walking around, firefighting, shooting each other. Real conflict, kind of a war zone type element, instead of the perpetually alone experience we're having here. Which way do we want to go? Doesn't matter. Probably not. See, this is just a prompt. It's telling me basically I can't pick up anymore. And the invisible guy we're chasing here, but it pretty much seems like it's just a standard invisible guy. Doesn't strike me as something stronger or newer. Maybe it'll be an invisible guy with a gun. Of course, when you run into a lot of these people, they feel like they're hallucinations in a small part because they don't really do any regular movements. They jump around and disappear. So that was very unexpected. It was unexpected because it was just regular enemies again, and they crashed right through the ceiling, and that's like a prime example of them. Like, where did that guy seriously come from? He either moved a lot faster than they do when you're looking at them, or they just kind of spawn in. Either way is not particularly ideal. Because, yeah, it's just not sellable to me that all of these soldiers on top of being psychic soldiers that are being controlled by Fextel, which honestly doesn't make it feel like you're killing non-humans any more than anything else. It's not like, oh, it's okay because you're killing clones. Still ending a life, even if it is a limited one. Man, lots of checkpoints with kind of nothing happening in between. There's a gun leaning over there, one of the fancier guns, but also kind of the useless one. There you go, that got that, and then that got that. Where did I go? Here we go. Oh, I just released a bomber. I just released somebody I probably shouldn't have. Give me this gun. This guy is hitting me hard, and so hard I can't heal myself. Because I'm hitting the wrong button. So I wasn't really expecting this, nor was I really set up for this. So, okay. Let's hit a key. Let's go back to where we were. And now we know where we are and what we're doing. So, we need to clear out this area first. Actually, destroying the explosives may have been a mistake. If I can actually manage to clear out an area before and then get this guy to run over here. We've got a couple of explosive barrels that would be useful. There's explosive barrels and more explosive barrels. They clearly want me to use the explosive barrels. So used to having to turn the thing on. And interesting, this red light is not something you can interact with. There's a health over here. And see, the only thing that would make this kind of make sense is if the big fat guy was inside that weapon, that machine, and this was the way that he took us on and actually posed himself as a threat. Alright. We're at 100% armor. We've got everything. Here I'm gonna hit the number keys to see which weapon I need. There we go. It was number 3. And the only thing I guess I could otherwise do is just escape, and let's just take a safety save. It's been a long time since we have done that. But alright. Start this way. I want to use all the ammo I have in this gun before I get out of this area. That way I'm not accidentally blowing myself up in the process. And then throw a grenade. Throw another grenade. Time's about to slow down. Let's see. His explosive damage is kind of nightmare inducing, because there's really not a lot that you can do about it. If he can get through these doorways, he can take you on, and he can get you at a distance and damage you faster. I think I maybe got him. But was he the guy? Or is he just the introduction of a new class of enemy? I mean, are we going to run into multiples of those running around now? It's probably not a terrible idea, since the music didn't stop playing, to assume we're still kind of in danger. So I'll go and pick up this health pack. There's probably some more guns also, come to think of it, that might be lying around. No, it's just all stuff you don't need. Could I have crawled through here? I mean, in theory, yes. In practicality, no. If they were running low on budget at that point, I would have said, you know, introducing that enemy and then having Alma show up and kill it would have been a nice kind of counterpoint towards the military first-person shooting versus the spooky horror elements that are very superfluous, if that's a real world, superficial. They feel like they're definitely just added on, almost as if they did not have the clear go-ahead to that the scary parts were going to stay in the game. And I could see that happening. I could see halfway through production somebody saying, forget it, we are taking all the scary stuff out and we're just selling this as a military first-person shooter. I could see it the opposite direction too. I could see them totally saying this is just a boring generic military first-person shooter. I have no idea what that's supposed to be whether that's a wall-riding tank or whether that's some kind of helicopter or what. Yeah, I could see them saying put in something else because this is not entertaining enough, or doesn't have enough to differentiate itself from all the other first-person military shooters out there. And if I was the producer of this game, I would definitely have put more money into the level design. But I don't even know, for a 15-year-old game, if it is money that is the limiting factor as to why there's so much repeated content. It very well might be that this is an example of them being limited on disk space. Like, interesting. If you're in the air and you might do a kick. Interesting. I feel like that was more of a glitched animation than an actual air kick. So we can go high, or we can go low. I'm going to stick with my strategy of going high. There's a dead body over there. Like, who is really killing all of these dead bodies in the vents, though?
Warning. Toxic substance detected. Emergency lockdown in effect.
Okay. So am I running this way? Nope. I'm running this way. And we've got a new thing to worry about, although I'm not sure that toxic substance should affect me at all, considering I should be wearing a gas mask. Anyways. This is a different gun. So I'm gonna hit number 3, and then I'm gonna take that, and then I'm gonna hit number 1. So we potentially just got a more powerful, better gun. With what I only assume is a limited amount of bullets again, so even in that fight, playing on easy, I still was not really succeeding greatly with the rocket launching gun alone. So this definitely feels like a game more about, do you have a lot of bullets in a lot of guns versus do you have all the right bullets in the right gun. Interesting. Is that the right move?
You have 2 new messages. First message from
Bill Moody. Hey Janice, it's Bill Moody. Ian Hives sent me down to the South River treatment plant to do some wastewater analysis.
Again, a health upgrade right next to a health med kit. At least this time you're more likely to see the health upgrade first.
I'm gonna send you a copy of my report so you can make sure the proper people are informed.
next message from
Ian Hives. Janice, yeah, it's Ian. Look, I wanted to give you a heads up that you might be getting a call from Bill Moody. I think the best course of action would be for you to act like you give a shit about his concerns. I think all he really wants is to believe that someone in authority has taken the ball and running with it. I fucked up by blowing him off, so I'm guessing he'll run to you. Anyway, look, just let me know how it works out.
end of messages.
Seems like everybody that works here is not only evil but terrible at hiding incriminating evidence by leaving things on their voicemails. And also this is probably at least a week, if not a month's worth of voicemails and development happening, getting left on the voice system.
Just a little more here about Origin. The reason they shut it down was a synchronicity event. Doesn't say what that means, but I guess there were a few casualties.
Yeah, and we're almost certainly going to have another synchronicity event happen at some point. Bullets, guns, something over here, or something over here. Actually, that's just where we were, so it has to be over here. You know what would be funny is if you played a game and then for the first 5 minutes or so you had a flashlight that died as part of the story, and then you just picked up an item called a better flashlight, and then the batteries didn't die for the rest of the game. Just as a reference and joke to how awful some of these things are. Like, flashlight batteries haven't been as bad as they're depicted in video games in 4 decades. Flashlights used to be devices that you did have to flash because the technology was so bad, and thus that's why it's called a flashlight. You would literally just flash it, connect the circuit to get a brief glimpse of where you're going, and that's all you could do. But there's been plenty of evolution of batteries. They still kind of suck, but I think anybody would always say that regardless of how good they get. You could easily run a flashlight off of a battery for, I would say, at least 15 hours straight before it would die. And particularly with like LED technology, now you're not even using light bulbs. Alright, so we have control here. Darn it. That was fun. It's kind of a shame we weren't able to do that earlier in the game. And I don't know where we're going though. Like we stirred up a fight that was somewhere else. I don't think I need to go down there because this is just that room. So how far off am I from the actual direction I'm supposed to be? I think possibly very far off. Follow the sound of the flying things, I guess. Oh, this is a loop though. If I go around here, this just goes up here. And then we got the other gun over there. Just look around to make sure there's not another path. That would be ironic if it turns out there is no way to finish this game. I don't know how you could end up with it working that way. maybe what I did is I didn't walk up here. No, I totally walked up here. Like, how would you have a game that claims to have the 2 pieces of DLC and then have a map that just goes in circles? This really is where a mini map and a compass would be super useful. Unless there's just happens to be unless there just happens to be a door that opened up down there, which I don't know how they would ever have guided me to believe that. We have this gate. We have this. I guess maybe I'm supposed to just jump through here. Oh. Yeah, I guess that's it. This game is weird about some transitions. And as soon as I walk this way, yeah, the music changes. Some really unobvious transitions going on. I hear somebody talking, but I don't think it's too many people. Yeah, here's the gun we controlled. So we got most of them eliminated. How was I out of bullets? Feels like the game decided to not really reload when it should have. This is another one of those sequences where if you just wait until you can kind of see them and then go into slow mode and unload on them, you're probably gonna get them all killed with minimal effort. And yeah, I don't feel like you could have played super well with that gun and eliminated everybody. I feel like there would have been somebody left over for you to take out, which is fine. This is weird because we have another gun here that's been shot out, but that's not the gun that we were controlling. At least it's not the gun I think we were controlling that was being shot out. Or maybe it was. Maybe we had access to 1, 2, 3 guns, and I could have hit the 1, 2, 3 buttons on the keyboard and swapped which one was shooting. And then they decided to take them all out, which wouldn't have been a bad policy. Otherwise, that's just confusing for no reason. Did I get all the bullets that I am gonna get? I think so. Going towards the exit. Kinda low on bullets. Notice how these guys have kind of a halo effect around them. A little bit of a glow effect. So it seems like they just shot somebody for a jump scare. That's not the gun I want to use. Let's see. Can we switch to something else? Yes. See, so that's just like a security guard, which those security guards are clearly gonna get killed. They didn't stand a chance against the military forces, and really shouldn't have been attacking anybody. Yeah. Even if it was like a military facility, I think once you get an assessment of the situation and you go, we've seen several people with assault automatic weapons in heavy armor, and gas masks. Heavy armor, gas masks with automatic weapons. I think at that point the security guards should realize they stand no chance. They shouldn't be attacking anybody. They should be bunkering in place as much as they can, or fleeing for their lives as much as anyone else. And meanwhile, it seems like we've seen at least 4 or 5 times as many security people dead as we have employees dead. Looks like we may have some creepy Alma thing happen. So unless Alma is blowing up people and killing scientists in a non-bloody way on top of a bloody way, the building seems like it was mostly evacuated, and the security people should have gone with them. Of course, they may have figured that out too late. Another jump downward for another loading section. And that was 48 minutes. Now, we did die in that boss fight, but that's pretty much it. Like, that's the only reason why it would have been slightly longer. And the previous level was actually very short by about 10 minutes. So they're kind of all over the place in the length of these levels, and there's really no reason to have them broken up to different levels if it weren't for the fact that I assume when this originally ran there was load sections happening here. Now on my SSD there's of course no load, it's just immediately into the next section. So if there was some kind of mod that would take out these elements and just move the story along, I could easily see myself playing this for an hour or 2 without even needing to take a break. But since it reminds you to take a break every time you're in a new level, you end up probably taking a break, which increases the chance of you not coming back and finishing the game at all. Let's see. Intervale 06 interception. I feel like we were doing 06 before, after image. Paxton Fettel's signal has vanished again. American technology advisor suggests the problem may be the result of a damage to the transmitter sustained during combat. It is now believed that American engineer Norton Mapes is actively sabotaging the F.E.A.R message. Primary mission is to locate Fettel. Secondary objective is to take Norton Mapes into custody for questioning. So they still won't let me just shoot him. The other thing I guess we should take from this, and I had totally forgotten about this, is the fact that Fettel does have a chip in his head used to track him, and it is proven to be completely useless. I'm never anywhere close to the guy, except for at the very beginning when he hit me in the head with a board. So the irony, I guess, would be if it turned out that he hit you in the head with a board and then he put the tracking chip that was in his head on you. But then that wouldn't make sense, because then somebody would have figured out your location and Fettel's location at the same time. Well, let's hit a key and see what happens. It's probably just more of the same. Are we gonna get any dialogue? Anything? Nope. Nope. More of the same. Yep. It would be really, really hard to recommend this game to somebody, just because it's generic. When you think about something like Overwatch or Fortnite, or how any of those free-to-play or mostly free-to-play, I guess Overwatch isn't free-to-play, how any of those shooter games play nowadays that are more team-based and more high action, you're always getting random maps, you're always getting power-ups, you're always playing against other players, almost always playing against other players. You're getting a very, very high action experience with a lot of different abilities too. Even if you're playing something like Team Fortress, you're getting abilities and different kinds of weapons in much higher variety than what F.E.A.R is offering now. It really is a product of its time, and a product of its time is just another way to say no longer up to snuff. It could not compete, and it's not really telling enough of a story. I feel like Condemned Criminal Origin would tell enough of a story and show enough cutscenes that it's worth watching someone else play it, or playing it yourself for the first time, or in my case playing it a second time after many years. Whereas if I knew what this was, if I knew up to this point that I've played, that was what F.E.A.R 1 was going to be, I probably wouldn't have played it. If you just told me it was going to be running around mostly an office building with very few 3D models of things and very few textures and very few enemies and very few guns, and even though you're going to play on easy, you're still going to have to shoot a quarter of your bullet stash every time, and you're going to potentially always be short on bullets, and your health will, in some points, difficulty spikes will happen and your health will go down really low, and the horror element that you would have thought would have been front and foremost in this game is practically non-existent. You get a very different feeling for what this game is just with that description than the way it sells itself. Yeah, I would have thought that this would have been a entire expansion on something like the Ring movie or the Grudge movie or anything like that, where you were seeing horror things all the time. Something closer to if you took the Fatal Frame series and set it in the West and gave the main character a gun, but this is really nothing like the Fatal Frame series, which was more what I was expecting. Really, this just feels like a generic Counter-Strike Go style game. Although I imagine Counter-Strike Global Offensive right now has been so updated and maintained that it is probably a lot more polished and worth playing than this is. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.